for those that don't know me, I'm Alyssa. I run the IT and marketing here for Bailey's of the North. Predominantly one of my specialties is the property suite system, so I'll be running you through some marketing today. And the system that we're running today is how to create your media. So everybody knows that Property Suite now contains all our data and everything like that. Since the middle of the year last year, we now can design all our media within Property Suite and send it off to publications and to print, which is relatively handy. It means we don't do double entry anymore. We enter a listing once in the system and then it pulls through to all of our marketing. I'm not sure how familiar you all are with Property Suite, but generally when you open up Property Suite to a property that you have listed, the admin team generally would have got it through to the marketing stage. For the Whangaparo and Ora offices, you may find when you open up your listings they're in the offer stage, which is the next tab along. That's due to the fact that they're creating their sale and purchase agreement blanks in there, so it just moves it through to the offer stage. You can always move back to the marketing stage just by clicking on marketing. The marketing stage is basically the most functional screen that we have in Property Suite. It's where you come to each time, as it gives you all the options that you will require to get where you need to go. On the marketing screen, this has recently changed, so if you've seen it before and you're looking at it now, I think in the last couple of days they've made some changes just to the headlines and descriptions and how everything's viewed, but everything that was there beforehand is still the same. So at the top you've got your listing details, you've got your listing photos, your marketing quote and schedule, your headlines and descriptions, your websites and your publication setup. So I'll run through a couple of those today and get you into designing your own media. One of the first things that the girls will do when they put your listing in, they have to put it in to move it from the listing to the marketing stage, is your headline and descriptions. But if at any time that an agent or a PA wants to change that, you can click on the headline and description screen and it will bring up everything that you've got in there. So as an agent or a PA, like I said, you can change this at any time. These are free fields for you to go in and amend. On the, on the screen also, on the headline and description screen, once you make changes to your marketing text, you have an option here to copy to marketing. So copy to marketing means that it will copy any of the changes you made onto any of your media templates. So if you are making changes in there, you need to make sure that you copy to marketing. Otherwise, those changes won't show on any of the media templates that you try to design. When you copy to marketing, what happens is it brings it down into this area here, which is all your print media. Basically it gives you a heading and your body text through there. What templates each one fits on is down the side here. So if you click on that heading, it'll tell you that it fits on all the trifold brochures. This one will fit on the window card. That one's for the flyers. The only options you will see in here is anything that's booked on your marketing schedule. So you won't see like a whole list of this fits on the Herald 10x5 or this fits on. It will only show you what your headings are going to be on any marketing that is being booked on your marketing schedule. One of the main things about this screen is that it also gives you your text with a text count for each of your templates. So this one will fit on flyers, signs, DLEs. It will show you in these areas where your text cuts off. So the ... at the end of it is where the word count cuts off, and it's literally telling you that your text is finishing mid-sentence. The best thing to do when you are dealing with your marketing text and wanting to go through to design your media is to try and get the text correct in the headlines and descriptions area first, because once you get that all sorted to where you want it to sit, it will automatically pull it through to that point on your template. So instead of having to change it each time you go into each template and cut it back and redesign it, if you get it right in here in the first place, then that will pull through automatically to all your templates. Some people like to do it through this screen and get it all done and nice and neat and tidy, and then it's all go for designing. Other people will do it on the media screen, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've just got to remember to save it. If you do not save on the media screens, it will remove that text again and put it back to what was originally there. So hence why we try to get everyone to put it in here, so that they know that once this is saved, it will always pull across. You have no issues. Down here further, you can have catchphrases on your listings. The reason it is in red is because it has not been filled out. A lot of people don't use catchphrases, but they'll come at the bottom of your media template in bold. So you can use those for the Herald, flyers and certain other marketing. As you go down further, there's also the print and email marketing. So if you've got any print marketing booked, it will also show in here. And then your email marketing, which is all your sort of templates, like your residential listings template, any of the templates that you're using through the email system that you're sending out to your database, you can edit the text in there.
Sorry, Alyssa, can you just confirm, when you go into that headings and descriptions, it'll only show you what it will fit in down the right hand side on internal marketing, not external marketing?
It does internal and external.
It's like will do, quarter page, Herald.
Yeah, and it will only show you what you've got booked in your marketing schedule. So you're not having any sort of fields there that you're filling in unnecessarily.
So when you go to the, when you first click into that screen and you've got your headlines and descriptions
Yeah.
at the top, and you said if you don't copy it to marketing, copy to marketing,
Yeah.
that it won't pull through to anything else. If you just save it, what happens?
If you just save it, it will save your text for the website, so update your text on the website,
Yeah.
but it won't update any of your media.
Right, okay, cool.
So if you're only wanting to change your website text, but you want your media stuff to stay the same, you can hit save.
Yeah.
Generally, most people, when they're changing their text, they'll want it across the board.
Sure.
So you would copy to marketing. It just makes sure everything's all the same.
So if you want each component of your marketing, like Herald, Property Press and Working Times, to have a different angle, then you have to rewrite them in each individual...
Well, you can. I mean, if you wanted to do it that way, you could obviously come down here and find your template.
Yeah.
For whichever, so say this is your trifold brochure, you want totally different text, you would just change the text in this field here to whatever new text you wanted. You could copy and paste into that field if you wanted totally different text.
Yeah.
So you just put that text in there and save it, and that will only go to your trifolds or whatever templates is on that. Yeah, depending on what template you're choosing. So it is quite flexible in what you can do with your text, so you can have different text for everything. The other screen that I'll show you, which is one that not a lot of people are aware of, is this publication setup screen. So in here you have the information that is going to appear on all your marketing, so the salesperson profile, so who's actually going on the listings. If you need to add in a third agent, you can do that here. But also down here in the publication setup, you have your option of images. So these images here are pulled from what you've done for your web listing. So as soon as the girls upload them for your web listing and put them in order, they will pop up in here. But generally for your web listing, you may want different photos to appear 1, 2, 3, 4, compared to what you actually want to show on your flyers or your window cards. You may have 3 specific photos for that. In here you can change your photo preferences, and you can just move them around to wherever you want. You can move them, oh no, sorry, you've got to remove the image and then re-upload. I should be able to just move them.
I've seen them just move them around.
I should be able to move them. have to actually remove them and then repack them. So if I removed all of those images, and sorry Shannon for doing this on your property, but
Don't lose them.
no, they're all within. They're all within and kept within the upload into the website of it. So even if you remove all your images only in the publication screen, it will only remove them for your publications. Your web will still stay fine. You don't want to do that. You're thinking about it. Come on, baby.
It's free.
So most of you will do this probably for at least your first 3 photos if you want to, so that each time you go into your media, this will bring up the first 3 photos that you select, so that you don't have to constantly in media change it to which ones you want. So you can just click to select, and it will show you all the photos for the listing, anything that's been uploaded into the listing. So you can just select those in the order that you want them. And that is the order they will now appear on your marketing. Again, also in the publication screen you have a bit of a checklist. So you have step 3 is publications with authorised bookings, so that'll give you a list of everything that's authorised on your marketing schedule and that you're allowed to design or create. And down the bottom is everything that you don't have.
So, I've missed all what you were trying to show us for the top part of the photos, so what can you do with them?
Right, with these photos here, in the publication screen, these photos relate to only media templates. So if you want to, say you have your web photos already picked and you have your 20, but they're not necessarily going to be the ones that you want to show up on your marketing material.
Okay.
So if you have a set 4 or something that you're going to use for the window card, the flyer, whatever have you, you're best to come into this publication area and set them as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, because it'll pull through to all your marketing templates.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect anything that you've got on the web photo wise. It's totally separate. Your web photos will still stay the same if you change anything in here. It's merely changing out for your marketing templates.
Okay, so all the marketing templates will automatically come up with the first
Web
photos.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
So if you're doing the likes of the trifold, it will automatically pull those through.
Take the first 8 or so.
Yeah, if you don't set these, they're set to whatever you've got on the web. So, but if you set your first 8 or so, say you are doing a trifold and you want to set that there, if you set all of those, they will automatically pull through to your trifold. You still have the option within media to then change those photos. This is just a quick way for probably doing, like I said, your first 4 or so that you know that what your main 4 media shots are going to come up on every template. You're not going to have to change them every time.
Yeah.
So how do we know which order in the template?
They will come 1, 2,
The photos
3,
are?
4.
So on a
Yeah.
trifold, which is photo 1? The front cover or the big middle?
The front cover.
Okay.
Trifolds are a bit different. They obviously have a lot of photo options as well, so you can have 6 photo options and stuff like that. Generally, your front will be your trifold cover, and then it will go through to your inside fold over, then it will go through your inside ones, and then you'll get your last back one.
Is there some that we can quickly look at each template and see which photo is what number?
No, unfortunately, there's no quick way of doing that.
It will be different for every publication, won't it?
Yeah, it is, but I mean, if you
Photo
generally stick
sizes
to the
and stuff.
rule, I mean, trifolds are probably one of the only exceptions to the rule. The rest of our media marketing is, you know, from 1 to 4 photos. So all your Herald templates, all your flyers, your window cards, your sign, your dealies, they're all going to use between 1 and 4 photos.
Mm.
So that's covered off headlines and descriptions and publication setup. Marketing quote schedule is where you will design your marketing. So you click in here and it will give you a full rundown of everything the girls have booked for you. That you can design. So if you come in here and there's nothing booked in, you need to speak to your admin team. It means they haven't booked, or the marketing hasn't been authorised, which means that we haven't received payment. So as a standard protocol for Mackey's is none of your marketing will be booked until it is paid for. So if you come into this screen and there's nothing there, you need to speak to your administrator and they'll be able to tell you what the status is. I've just booked in, this is someone else's listing, sorry, I tried to do it in demo mode but it didn't really want to play ball. I've booked in a window card and a flyer, which I'll show you today. So to start designing your media, you need to click on the date that is next to the item that you want to design. In here you guys have view only access. You won't be able to see that because I'm logged in as myself so that I can go where I need to go. You'll have view access only, so you can't change anything within the actual booking itself. So have no fear when you come into this that you're going to click on the wrong thing, or you're going to change a price, or you're going to change an option that you shouldn't change. You basically can't. You don't have access to do any of that. So you're quite safe coming in here. It'll tell you what is the media publication, so we're doing flyers, residential and country, which is the same flyer. It gives you another description, and in here is the artwork, which says it's a new artwork, we haven't designed it yet, it's not in proofing, it's all ready to go for you to start designing. It'll also give you down here your supplier, so whether or not it's in-house print, so flyers are always printed in-house. Things like your signboards and stuff, it will say jazz print in there. And I'll show you a media ad which is a little bit different. Down here is your cost allocation, so flyers are free, this is no charge to anyone. You don't need to worry about accounting or supplier invoices. So basically to create your artwork, you go create. For those of you that use Campaign Track in the past, it's a very similar setup. You can't really go wrong with it. It's all templated. It brings a lot of information through from your listings, so there's not a whole lot of double entry you need to do. When you get into this screen, it will give you a proof of what your flyer is going to look like. Down in the right hand bottom corner, you have a whole lot of options. You can edit, which will allow you to edit your artwork. You can print it. You can email it off direct to your vendors if you want them to sign it off before you go ahead and go to print. The admin have an option to order. You can delete the artwork altogether, which probably you're never going to use. Or you can exit the screen. So we want to edit our artwork, so we select edit and we click on the artwork that we want to edit. So as I said, this is very similar to Campaign Track for those that used it. Everything is fields and they're very well described. You can have marketing banners. The banners that you can have are dictated to us by Bailey's brand standards. So your options are what is down in the banner field. We can't deviate from that. We can't have a separate banner. So don't ask. I can't just make one up for brand new listing or whatever you want. Those are our options only, so you can do your sold, your lease, you know, first viewing type stuff. Remove yellow warning, you will not have an option for that, only admin have that. It gives you your reference number, so it automatically puts that in. Then you have your suburb city options, so you can choose between showing the suburb or the actual city that it's in. The suburb will automatically pull through from your listing, which is generally mostly what we use. You'll probably see it a little bit different in any waterfront or tier 1 publications that you do, because you will need to have your suburb and your city. For the flyers, you only get one option. Again, most generally people will send it to the suburb. The address automatically pulls through, but you do have address options, so you can have the address showing on the flyer, or you can hide it if you need to. Generally, if you're creating media, I can't imagine why you would hide the address unless the vendors have requested it, but you can do that. It'll then come into your text, so you've got your heading, which is automatically pulled through from what you had on your publication screen, and your body copy. If for some reason it is too long, you will again see the ... at the end. It will tell you that your text is cutting off mid-sentence and you need to take a look at it. It won't allow you to save and close, or it will still throw up an error if you're still stopped within a mid-sentence. Sometimes it will pick it up if you do have text at the end of your, and I know one of our Omaha team likes to do this, they like to have ... on the end of their text. It confuses the system, so you cannot do it. So you can edit everything in here, you can take that out. You can put stuff in if you want to, but just know that this does not feed back to your publication screen. This will be for this flyer only. It will not carry over into any other publication if you edit in this screen. It'll automatically bring through your sale method and your sale details and your sale location. Viewing options is for your open homes. You have quite a few options here. You can show the time, day and date plus by appointment, which is a bit of a mouthful. You can then go on to show just the day and time if you know you're doing a 4-week campaign and you're going to have it on a Sunday from 1 to 2 for 4 weeks. You can then just select show the date and time and put it on your flyer, and it will put Sunday 1 to 2. You can do by appointment, phone for viewing times, or not have any viewing options if you don't want. I'm going to do show time, day and date, but I don't think I've got any open home times loaded, which is a bit of a bummer. If you come in here and you choose your viewing options to show the time, day and date, but nothing pops up within your open home, you can come up here to the open homes and select a date that you want it to show from. Where are they? 24. And it will bring through your open home day and time within that range. So if you want to put multiple weekends on, you can. If you only want the 1 weekend, just narrow it down to that 1 week within that open homes in here.
Does that add events to the listing?
No, it will only pull through events that are already booked in. So if you've got no open homes showing up and you try, you go up to the open homes and put in your weekend that you know you've got it on, and it doesn't show in there, and you come down here and there's still nothing showing, it means that you don't have an open home entered in Property Suite as of yet, and you need to speak to your admin to get them to add that in.
If you want it on the website.
If you want it on the website, yes.
if you don't, then you don't worry about it.
Well, if you don't want it on the website, then no, but you won't be able to show it on your marketing. So any open homes that are entered in as events will show on the website, and you have the option to show them on marketing. It's not optional to show them on the website.
Right. So then doing that open home thing at the top will add events to the listing so that
No.
it shows online? No, not that way around.
No, you can only pull events that are already entered in.
Oh, right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Pulls events,
So
right.
they've already got the open home system, they've already booked that event within Property Suite, it'll pull it through to the marketing.
Cool.
You can't pick a date and have it feed through
I see.
that open home.
Are our open homes not booked then?
They are booked,
Okay.
yep. I just needed to select a date range to show because you've got more than one booked. If you've only got one booked and it was doing the Herald for this week and you've got an open home for that weekend, it will automatically pull that through. With the flyer it doesn't because obviously it has no kind of certain, deadline time frame. So you can go to the top and then select that date range.
You can unselect if you don't want it to show on your flyer.
Yeah, you can select to hide open homes, you don't have to show them, and then you've still got the options to show by appointment, you know, phone for viewing times, that type of thing, which are all in this drop down here.
So with the loading of those open home times,
Yeah,
I normally do the same time every week for a 4-week campaign.
Yep.
Saturday, Sunday.
mhm.
Is there some simple way of actually saying to the system, right, for the next 4 weeks, I would like an open home time at this, and it populates 4 weeks worth of open homes, rather than me sitting there and going, open home 1, open home 2, and you know what I mean?
As in you want to, on your marketing, show all the open homes at once?
Yes, so as far as loading them,
You mean creating the events, the open
so
home
creating
events?
the event, creating the event itself.
Yeah,
Is there some way where they're the same time, Saturday, Sunday, week after week after week? Is there some way that you can just go, right, well, let's do the next 4 weeks?
You
No,
can't,
by
but
you
your
have
one
listing,
thing.
your listing admin person can,
Yeah.
because they set it at the listing point in the listing screen, don't they, Lisa?
no, they do it in the marketing screen, but they don't, they have an option where they can do times
load
3
it,
weeks.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so I need to get the girls to do it.
Yeah, the girls
rather
can
than
load
me-
that.
Rather than me do it.
Yeah. The admin do have
Okay.
larger options. I didn't think that you could add in your own open homes anyway.
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah,
can.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Because if you want to change
It saves the weekend phone calls
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
admin staff.
Yeah. You still have those. Yeah, you can, the girls can put in multiple for you, but yeah, obviously you don't have access to that. I'll try and take a look at it and see what we can do to maybe alleviate that a bit. But it is quite manual in the whole booking an event type thing. It's not really set out for events to be booked like you can book Heralds 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different setup.
Well, if they have to do the same as me, I'll just do it,
Yeah, they'll probably have to do the same as me.
because that's just
Yeah.
crazy.
After your open homes, you have all your, of course, your bedrooms, bathroom, lounges, anything that has been added to the listing form in the listing stage. This all pulls through from your listing form, so if there is something there that you believe is wrong, this is how it will be showing on the web. So you can change it in here for the sake of doing a flyer. I can change the garage parks to 4, but that won't change it within your listing or on the website. So if you come in here and notice something's really askew, like you've got 3 bedrooms when it should be 4, you need to let your admin team know and they'll change that on the listing form for you. After they do that, it'll automatically pull through the correct number. You have the option to show, off-street parks. You can hide icons, so if you have an icon that has 0 in it, you need to hide it because the system doesn't recognize that the icon's there but it doesn't actually have a number. So the icons will start crossing over each other because they don't have a number. So if you're going to not use off-street parks, then you need to select to hide it. The same with the pool. If you're having no pool, hide the pool icon. Unfortunately, it's automatically set to default to yes to show all of them, and that's not going to change. You can also on your flyers and any other templates, you can decide to hide your legal description if you don't want to show that. It'll pull through your council rates, your CV, your land rates, anything that's been added into the listing that can show potentially on the flyer. It will add that in automatically. All of these are standard fields that you can't change. So it pulls it from the listing. If it's wrong, again, you need to let your admin team know. But you have full options over whether or not you want to show that information. Because not all the time will you want to show the CV on a property, or, you know. So you have options there to hide all of those. Down here is your marketing profile. So for each agent, they have automatically pulls through your profile. You have an option. You only have one phone option. You can show either an office number or a mobile number. Most likely it's mobile. It is defaulted to mobile, but on any of our templates, you can only show one mobile number. On the flyers, you obviously have a day phone. On most of our media, you won't get that option. So for Herald ads, waterfront ads, whatever have you, you only have one phone option. You can choose, if you've got too much information when you go into your flyer, you can choose to hide your email, to cut it up and bring your ad text up if you only want to put your mobile in. So you've got that option there as well. Again, you have an option for a third agent. So basically you fill in all your fields. Over here again is, like I said, these are the images 1, 2, 3. Oh, I must have unfolded my flyer. That we selected in the publication area, so it's brought through the photos that we wanted to use. If you want to change them at any time, you just basically click on them and change the image. Again, it'll give you all your images and you're free to pick whatever you want. This area here is what will actually show on your flyer. You can move this to where you need it to go. If you had more photo above and below, you could move it up and down. Obviously for this template we can't.
Alyssa,
But
will
you
it
can
show all
crop-
the 20 photos that are loaded for that particular property then?
Will it show, sorry?
All the 20, so all the web photos, or what?
Yeah,
where are
it'll
you
show
doing-
every photo that has been uploaded onto this listing. So not just your web photos, it'll give you all options for all photos.
So if you've got 50 from your photographer, all 50 will be sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's if the girls upload all 50, which they should be doing.
You can also crop it too.
You can. Ideally, you don't really want to be doing that. Make sure you save and close after you make any changes. You also, for each photo, you can put in your photo description. So I know some of your photos might have descriptions on them for the web already, because obviously we can't preload a description for the web. You're better off in your media, you will need to upload a clean photo and add your text in, like boundary lines are indicative only, photos not taken from site. For your media stuff, you will need to have a clean photo without the text on it and select your photo description from the drop down, because otherwise when it goes through to Bailey's for print, they'll pack it up and you'll have to go back and change it.
Double.
So you can have also an other description if you wanted to say it was sort of like Buckleton's Beach 30 metres away, 5 metres away or whatever. You type into your other photo description and that'll show on your photo. Once you're done with everything in here, hold on, there's one more thing I need to show you too. Sorry, change cell. There's a change cell up in here. I don't like the wording, but it is what it is. If you want to change your template, the change cell is the button that you'll use to do that. You then get the options for whatever publication it is, be it a flyer, an ad, whatever templates are available for you to use are in there. So you can choose for the flyer, you can have one photo with two on the back. You can have 3 photos, cover 3 photos, 2 on the back, 3 photos and 3 photos on the back. So there's a whole lot of different templates that you can use. So if you don't like the one that you got because your photos don't fit, go up to change cell and try one of the other ones. Unfortunately, there's no real easy way of seeing what those templates look like until you design them.
Could we maybe design a set or have a set somewhere, Alyssa, maybe in
When I get a chance, I'll try and see what I can do, or I'll see head off. I mean, I can ask head office. I know they don't have anything at the moment. But yeah, we can try and see what we can do to get some template options, at least for the main stuff that we use, like flyers and DLEs and stuff like
We
that.
used to have them in our brochures, and it was really easy. Just said, "Oh, I want that one."
Yeah, yeah. So once you've designed all that, you need to make sure you save and close, especially if you've made changes in there and you want to keep them. Down here is your refresh button. This will refresh your proof. So you need to do that once you've saved and closed, because if you don't, you'll still be seeing an old version of the flyer that you have just done. You can scroll up and down. Obviously, pink warning means that I have way too much text in there and I need to cull it down. That is basically because I changed the template from the original one that was booked in, where it all fitted, and then I changed the template, so it's now kicked my text out. So if I need to go in and edit that,
You just click on the picture.
She has to go out and edit the text.
Where you edit and
Yeah.
just
yeah,
click on it.
you just click on your picture. Mine's just a bit slow, sorry, the internet here is incredibly. You can take out your text. Make sure you got no spaces afterwards. Save and close again. Refresh. And we're all fitting again. The same with the magenta warning, there is a yellow warning. Again, the yellow warning is if your text cuts off mid-sentence, the system will pick it up. So if it's yellow, that's what it means. It means that your text does not have a full stop on the end, or is not an end of a sentence.
Do we have any possibility of linking on the web, at the web level for main text, the difference between the Baileys and real estate and One Roof Webs versus Trade Me?
No, we don't have separate options for web text. You've got one web option.
So basically, Trade
what
Me's
goes
bottom
on
of the
one
barrel,
goes on everyone.
leave it be, let it drop off mid-sentence.
Yeah, there's been a lot of debate about that, and we have tried to get Trade Me to come to the party, and they're just not willing to. But basically, Trade Me has a set word count. I can't remember off the top of my head how much that exactly is.
It's less than ours.
But yeah, if your web text, you're free on Baileys, and you're pretty much free on real estate to have as much text as you'd like. Trade Me unfortunately has that word count, and it will cut you off mid-sentence. I mean, everyone should be checking all their websites once the admin have made their properties live anyway, so that you don't have that issue. We did have it in the system set that your text would only go as far as what the Trade Me website does, so that we wouldn't have that issue of it cutting off in between. So they changed that, and we're currently trying to change it back. I think it's 2,048 words off the
It's
top of my head.
2,000, it's less than ours, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's
you
about
often-
2,048. So yeah, at the moment we are trying to get that changed back, those web text fields, so that it won't let you go any further than what's on the Trade Me site.
Oh, I'd rather have free text in all our other websites and not bother about Trade Me so much. It's a pretty incidental website.
Yeah, it's never ideal to have your text cutting off mid-sentence though on any website,
No.
you know? It's it's not a good look. If you can kind of colour it so that Bailey's, you can kind of trick the system and have an extra space in so that it will finish on a sentence on Trade Me. If you add another line in, you can have more text that will then show on real estate and Bailey's. But yeah, it's hard to manage.
And the account manager at Trade Me has the option of changing that text though, doesn't she?
No,
I thought she did.
no, they won't do it for us anymore.
Oh, they used to.
No, they once upon a time used to. Now they're not doing it. They had too many requests to do it. They should just change their word count, but that's not happening, unfortunately. Like I said, once you finish your artwork and you're all happy with it, generally, if it's an ad or anything like that, you can click here and you will have, instead of an approve, you will have a ready. You can click ready and it shows on the marketing schedule that that artwork is ready, so your admin can see it and know that you've been in there and you've actually designed it. They'll probably double check with you anyway to make sure that it is all ready to go. But there's that option there so that you can do that.
So sending admin an email saying that I've done it.
You can still do that if you want. They do have a ready, like I said, but the ready hasn't been widely used as such so far. And it's a bit of a protocol thing of if you click ready, you can't take it back. So if you click on the ready button, it'll show as ready on the marketing schedule, and if you didn't want to send the admin an email or have them check with you, they'll just take that as it's done. But you can't take the ready back. So even if they see it, they will ask you before they approve anything. Or if you want to get it approved and get it printed and in the window or whatever really quickly, send them a quick email and they'll get that done for you. Again, you also have options to print. You don't need to wait for your admin team, say you needed to change the price, or you needed to change the price, say you needed to change something on your flyer desperately because it was the weekend and there was wrong information on it. You can print those off for your open home. And in here, once it brings you through, you've got your download option to download your flyer or your print option to print it. It'll just give you a high-res PDF.
Liz, I found that most of the time it's better to download it and then print from the PDF rather than printing from in there, because it
Generally it will be.
screws up a little bit of the printing
Yeah,
settings.
Generally it will be. The printer settings are a lot better if you download locally and print it from
Email
your
it
system.
yourself and print it, or
No, all you have to do is all you do is download
Yeah,
the
you
PDF.
can,
then
I mean,
print
you
the
don't
PDF.
have to print it if you don't want to, if you're just sending it via email to a client or the vendor for approval. You just come into the email and it's the same as any other email that you send through the Property Suite system. I'm not sure if you've all seen it, but you've got who's it from, so you can choose generally who it's from, who you're going to send it to. So you can search for contacts that you already have, say the vendor, you just search their name and then you can select them and add them in.
they'll be under the linked parties.
Yeah, so they'll be under here. So you have client, you can have your manager if you want to send it to your manager for approval. And then all your other agents in the office if you want to send it to all of them. You can search by reference, so if you've got someone in your database that you know is there, that you want to send it onto, you can search their name, it'll bring them through. There is the option here to add a new contact. I'm not sure why you wouldn't add them to your database if you were going to send them a flyer, but it may just be that it's a different email address that the owners, the vendors have given you that they want it sent to. So you don't necessarily have to add that into the database. It'll automatically blind copy yourself, so you're going to get a copy of whatever you send them so you know what they actually received. Down here you can also do your general read receipt, so you can click that. A lot of people don't like clicking that they've read an email, so 50-50 chance on whether or not you're going to actually know. But it pays to click it, because once you do within the system, it'll keep a tally of that type of thing, whether or not it was read and everything like that. You can look back on it. You can, it will attach the flyer as an attachment, and down here is the body body text of what your email's going to say. So you can change that out, but there is a standard template that will come through for you. And that'll send it straight off to them. I'm not going to send this one obviously to the vendors because that's not a proper one. And once you're done, you can just exit. Always continue in Property Suite. If you use your arrows to go back and forth, the system doesn't really like it and can create issues. So always just continue to get on to your next screen. So that's about it for actual creating your media. I won't run through more templates because you're going to get the same scenario each template that we do. Basically, you can't do anything wrong. You can go in there, you can change things, you can save them. You know, it's only going to be on that media template that you're working in that those changes can be saved. So you can rest assured that when you're doing your media and you're changing things, your web and stuff is not going to be affected. So there's not much that can really go wrong when you're in those screens.
And if we're in an actual ad, sorry Ryan, if we're in an actual advert, like a Herald advert, we can't.
You can't approve those anyway.
Without admin doing the final approval, is that correct?
Yeah, so all of your artwork work has to be signed off your advert by your admin, even your flyers and window cards will be. Agents don't have the capacity in Property Suite to actually approve. PAs have the ability to approve and unapproved flyers and window cards. So say your admin was busy and you wanted to make some changes, you can do that and then reapprove them and then reprint them, so you don't have to wait. We just haven't given that to agents yet because it causes problems with changes being made and flyers not being updated within flyer holders and window cards not being updated in the window. There's a bit of a process that comes along with that the admin would like to retain control of, just so that they know anything that they're changing is getting changed in the appropriate places.
Quite often we hear people having to go back and forward 100 times between the agent and the administrator to try and make text fit into whatever template. Mm-hmm. This is the answer. This is the way to get around that.
So if you're having issues with your text and your admin is coming and saying to you, you still need to make it shorter, the best option for you to do would be to come into the system and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're going to get it right first shot. It is a lot easier for the admin if that's done, but like I said, if you get it right, or at least get your word count right in that headlines and description screen, you also shouldn't have that problem. So each time, if I was an agent, each time I had a listing, I would, and I know that the girls have set it all up and put it all in, and my headlines and descriptions is there. If I was an agent, I would just go through all of these and just cull them back to where they need to be, or reset my text.
Listen, why is there a discrepancy between characters in Word and characters within Property Suite? Because if it says, someone will say, you've got 45 characters, Karen, go and write your sentence. I go and give her a Word document with my sentence that's 45 characters in Word. She bungs it into Property Suite and it doesn't accept it.
Yeah, they have a different way of word counts. Property Suite doesn't count, or, Word will count every single character that there is within here, including spaces. Property Suite doesn't count everything. There are some
Property Suite is less than Word.
Exactly.
It's because you're restricted by how much space you've got to write on a line, and certain words will wrap around.
Yeah, so the line drops as well will make an issue. So if you've got a line where you've got a long word at the end and it drops down to the next line, it will take up more spacing in your template.
Which we can't ever overcome in Word, can we?
No, Word just continues. will continuously count what you've got on the page. It doesn't have that set template edging. And I also know that Property Suite doesn't count a couple of the characters as well.
So this is really better, and because I was sitting
but
there
that's
trying to.
provided your listing's loaded, because you
Yeah.
have the situation where
Yeah.
you're trying to give everything to
You
your
can load
admin.
this yourself if you want to, though.
Load a listing?
You don't know. You can't load a listing.
Yeah, so you can't do any of that until you've got a
But if they've
listing.
put the listing in, but you haven't done your headlines or your description, you can go and put that in yourself and
Yeah.
then let them know that you've done that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait for them, you have to wait till it's in the listing screen to be able to add it in.
Yeah.
But if you're finished with it, you want to chuck it in and just get going on your media and then let them know that it's all there, go for it. They're not going to worry.
So that's slightly else about face from how we've always come, that we've given the whole listing text and everything
Yeah,
up
well,
front.
exactly. And I mean, that's preferably the way the admin team gets it, because they go through their checklist and they get it all loaded, which follows the basic checklist of how a listing is entered in Property Suite. So,
But you can still do that, is give them everything, and then if it's not working, then you go in and edit, not go
Yeah.
backwards and forwards between the
yeah,
admin and yourself.
yeah.
I was just trying to give them
It
everything
gives
up
you
front and
options
get it
to change
smoothly
it yourself.
running.
Yeah, if you're worried about your text and stuff, or you didn't like the original text, you want to change the text and you want to get it done right then and there, and your admin is perhaps busy doing contracts or options or whatever, you have the option to do that. So once you update your text, once you update your text and you click save, it is automatically set to send that to the web. So you don't have to wait for your admin to then re-push it to the web. It will update automatically for you once you change your text. So you're talking half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour for Bailey's, 20 minutes, half an hour for Trade Me, and real estate feeds twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon.
Do you know what one roof speed is? Is that once a day?
One roof is, I don't know actually.
Seems to take quite a long time.
I'm pretty sure it's probably only once a day because we don't have 89 feeds to them. Yeah, no, it looks like they're once a day. We've got direct feeds to real estate, to Trade Me. We do have them direct to real estate, but I just don't want to update them that often. Which gives us that really quick push to Bailey's and Trade Me, which is really quite good, because if you've got an error on your listing, you obviously want to change straight away.
If it happens to one website, so if we're holding out for the change so we can tell our vendor that it's changed, if we see the change on Bailey's or Trade Me first, which is likely to happen,
Yep.
can we assume that the rest will absolutely happen?
Yeah, you can assume that if Bailey's and Trade Me have accepted the change and change, there should be no issue with real
With the
estate.
rest of them, okay.
If there was an issue with something that you've entered or something that's been done, generally it'll throw up an error on all of them. The only thing would be if you added a video to real estate but it was in the wrong field or something, then of course that'll affect solely real estate. But generally if you change the price, if it had any issue with it, you wouldn't get any further than Bailey's.
Right.
So if you do change something like that, at web level, if you've got other things like Google AdWords, you've got Facebook, you've got stuff, you've got NZ Carousel running, and you're still within that 7 or 14-day period, will it change things in those ads as well, or do you have to go somewhere else to do that?
It will change for certain things. It'll change your carousel. Well, no, it won't change your carousel. It will change any of these websites that are actually loading to the website and feeding from there. It's a little bit tricky. So Facebook will only take what you originally send them. If you need to change anything and you need it changed on a Facebook carousel, like Facebook Boost or whatever you've got running, you need to email Listing Logistic and get them to change the text or the price or the photo. Photos won't change automatically on Facebook. Same with Carousel, once it's up and running, what you originally sent to them is what you will get on the NZ Herald Carousel. Once obviously they click on the carousel and it takes them through to the Bailey's website, they'll see the new, but they'll see what was originally sent to them if it's in process. But yeah, Facebook's a big one. I do get asked about that often. Why didn't my photo change? It's because once it's running, that's it. It only takes what you first originally had there. They can change it manually, like I said, but they're not going to get into the habit of changing your photo once every week for you.
No, but if you've got something critical like number of bedrooms or price or
yeah, anything that's
Street
like
number.
that, or if you do want to change the photo once because it's not getting as much attention as you want, they will do that for you. But just don't go to the extreme and change it every week. You will probably get a bit of kickback in them saying no. Is there any other questions that anyone has? Was all of that quite clear for you guys, or are you a bit lost, or have I?
So, with agents wanting to do flyers, DLEs, what is their option?
What do you
So
mean?
for instance, with Altogether Better, they have to go through to Chloe in town and design.
So you're talking about DLE personal profiling?
Yes, a mixture
Okay.
of personal profiling, or they decide they want to do a flyer drop, which is in that format.
Yeah, okay, so for anything that you want to do personal profiling, if you want to use the Altogether Better, there is a sold flyer that you can use within the system. It only allows you to have one property on it, not multiple properties. They shut that down after we got a bit creative. With personal profiling, they are working on the moment and getting some more DLE options into the system for agents to personal profile with that aren't sold. I'm not sure how far away that is. They've had a few changes within their marketing.
outside of the Altogether Better suite, you can have multiple properties, templates. There's a different set of templates, but within Altogether Better,
Yeah, within
it's
Altogether
much
Better,
more
yeah, it's much
restrictive.
more restricted. So
And
there's an
that's-
Altogether Better option. Then of course with your sold DLEs, you can order those through the marketing screen and have a sold DLE sent out on the property. But in terms of proper personal profiling, you've got the Altogether Better option, which you can do through head office, and they will create different collateral on what you want. There's a general setup fee of $150 to $200 for that. But basically they give you a whole design, your text, your ad, they click out your photo and everything like that. Once you've got your original design for the $150 or $200, it will only cost you, I think it's $30 to $50 for resizes, depending on what you're doing. So if you're totally reshaping say a window poster to a DLE type thing, it'll probably be about $50 because there is a little bit added into, the back of a DLE and stuff like that. It's a good option. It really is a good option. I think it's quite cost effective in reality, and they're really well done.
It looks very professional.
Yeah, they look very professional. You also have an option of going to our designers or a designer of your choice to create some brand profiling for you. Not sure why you do that. Generally it'll cost you more than Altogether Better anyway, but it's if you want something really bespoke. Of course, that also, if you are going to take the option of going out of office for it, you are going to need to get it signed off by your manager that it meets brand standards. Because obviously we've got a set standard that we need to conform by for Bailey's, set text, where the logo needs to sit, what needs to be on the ad.
Yeah, so if you're a PA and you've got an agent that wants to be creative, can you please refer to your manager before putting a whole lot of work into
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, especially if they've asked you just to do a flyer up in PowerPoint or something, you need to get that looked over first. If your manager's not available, flick it through to me, or if you want to flick it through to me in the first instance to get it checked over, then go for it. I'm happy to take a look and let you know whether or not it meets brand standards, and then you can move from there and make the changes from there. But there's nothing worse than putting something together and then having to totally redesign it because it's wrong.
Is our brand standards booklet still up to date?
Yeah, we got new brand standard
Yes.
booklets
That front desk
maybe
should be
a couple of months ago, so those were updated for the admin. They sit with your admin at front desk. Your manager should have one too, and it's also updated on Be Central in the cloud.
So we just need to update. Do we know what changed so that we can update our own copies?
No.
Is the sold sticker put somewhere else, or was that just a recent thing?
No,
that
it
people
was
are
to
putting
do
them on all
with Altogether
directions?
Better stuff, the
Yeah.
email signatures. There was quite a bit that changed. So you're better off just looking at the one that's online as opposed to what you've got on your desk drawer.
There's quite a few examples of Altogether Better and the brand standards, which
Yeah, so
for other
new
agents, but
stuff
once
has
again,
come through.
Chloe will send it to you directly. I think the more people that do them, the more she's got examples of what other people have done.
Mm. But that's your options for personal profiling at the moment. Unfortunately, there's not much in Property Suite at this point, but that Baileys will build from here, and they will get more and more in as time goes on. It's just, it's quite time consuming to get those templates and that sort of thing set up.
Yeah, I think the only thing for me, my big problem was that I didn't walk in with a current listing. So being new, there was difficulty to try and grab, like you can't use anything from Property Suite unless
You've got a listing,
listing,
yeah, so you can do
I'm kinda
dealies.
stuck with
Yeah.
the-
There
a
is
rock and a hard place,
some marketing. You guys don't have access to this, but there is some stuff. This is the side that pertains to agents and what you can do. This is where we create your business cards. And we can do email signatures for you as well. But we do have some options in here, very limited options. And my internet decides I need to do that.
Is there a limit to the number of testimonials you can have? Like that?
Not at the moment, but I kind of feel like there should be one. There is, for Trade Me, you can only fit 5. Real estate is the same as Baileys, you can have as many as you want. One Roof is the same as Trade Me, you can only have 5. I think 5 is a standard of testimonials, is probably a good level. People aren't going to read past 5. They're
And
not
it's
going
the
to
5
read your
relevant
30.
ones to what you're trying
Yeah.
to do, isn't it?
So the main relevant ones that you want to use, probably your best ones or the most recent, which were really good ones. But people aren't going to read through 30 testimonials that are on a website. They're just not going to do it. So if you have your first 5 and keep them, you know, sharp and to the point and stuff like that, so you don't have, you know, like a book for your first one, people will generally give them a look. But anything beyond 5, I'd say you're just kind of wasting space.
So question, if you had testimonials just in your Baileys website, do those pull through, or you have to have them in Property Suite to pull them through? Those-
Testimonials to go on.
Specifically.
You have to load them yourself into.
Yeah, you have to load
You've got
them.
to load your sold to
Yeah.
the trade.
You have to load them yourself. They're loaded not through Property Suite to the websites. Your profiles and stuff are loaded in the back end of Bailey's website, so I do that for you. Again, in Trade Me, your testimonials is through their One Hub system. One Roof, it goes through One Roof. Real estate, we have to do manually, so I have to send it on to them. Testimonials and that don't actually feature as a part of the system yet.
Okay, I just saw testimonials and that's not working.
Testimonials where?
Just on that last screen where you were looking,
Mm.
it said testimonials.
Okay, I'll just take a look at that column. So yeah, you can do directional signboards for the agent's promotion, mail cards, so you can do just air points, make a wish altogether better, and welcome to winter stuff. So you've got a basic, it has the welcome to winter on the front and then a standard on the back. You can do a make a wish flyer, you can do thank you cards within here.
So this is what we can't access.
You can access, this is all agent marketing profiling, but like I said, there's not much in there. There's some dealies, there's a flyer, there's directionals, and there's thank you cards. The rest of it is if a admin was wanting to book an actual ad, a profile ad for you within a publication like the Herald or something, say you wanted to do a half-page Herald ad, they would book it in this end.
So you were talking about where you would do an email signature and you would do a business card before, but we can't get into that's where I saw the word testimonials.
Cool, I'll see if I can get back there in here.
And Alyssa, under brand standards for business cards, it seems not clear as to what agents should be putting on their business cards in terms of their area of expertise.
The template's pretty strict on what you can actually put in it anyway. But are you meaning for your title?
Yes, under the name, as to
Yeah.
what you specialise in. So I'm not sure
That's
if
an
there's gonna be an
interesting
audit one day of
I
those.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
They've certainly never set a criteria for us.
Consultants, yeah,
Property
actually,
gurus.
if you got all the cards downstairs and put them side by side, I think
Yeah.
you can find there'd be a few
Yeah.
variations.
There are lots of variations, and some are residential and coastal, residential and
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Waterfront.
Consultants.
Yeah, which is fine, you can have residential and
Number
lifestyle,
one agent
sales,
for
personal,
Timbuktu
whatever.
or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah,
Director.
they've never given us, they've never actually given us any criteria around setting those.
I think
Yeah,
it's
it'd be
coming,
interesting to
it's
see.
gonna come out of head office, because all the CNI guys now are associate directors.
What is
Yeah.
it?
All of them?
Yeah.
What?
Salespeople are associate
What does that mean?
directors now. Yeah, exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I think
so
it'd be- as a company to be.
perhaps get your print run done if you want something fandangled on your business card. Well, they do change that brand standard. In here you do have profile blurb and stuff like that, that doesn't feed to the web or anything. You can put in your social media links. I presume, I don't do a lot of this side, I believe Ruth would more deal with this in her training sessions for what shows on your newsletters and stuff like
I
that.
think everyone wants
And
to
those
join
agent
Twitter after
templates.
listening to Ryan.
So, Alyssa, are you saying we can't go into there and design a personal profiling DLE for ourselves? We
No,
have to
you
ask
can't,
admin
you
to do
can't,
that?
no, you have to ask admin to do it.
Instead of your conference.
Because there's a cost with it.
Right,
They go to
good.
print
If we
and stuff
can
like that, we can't.
Stop us at ready or approve,
Yeah,
but at
no,
least we can.
it doesn't work like that in the back end of the system which does the agent marketing. And again, there is an invoicing process that also needs to be followed on from when they book it in here, they also need to invoice some stuff, so, yeah, that's all of it. I mean, they don't charge you for business cards and stuff, but if you were doing a DLE that was being printed by Jazz Printer, it may be some cost associated for yourself. So yeah, it's more a processing thing than anything.
I might not being able to order it, but it would be nice to be able to.
You can design it,
Oh, okay.
you can design it,
And then?
yeah.
Okay, how do we do that?
The admin has to book it first though, does it?
Admin has to book it first, yeah.
Where would it come up? Because it wouldn't come up on a listing, would it?
No,
No,
it
it
comes
comes up
down in your
under-
marketing
up
schedule.
under your name.
On your profile. And you should all have access to your profiles.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So you go to your profile page, and if there's anything booked there, it'll show up there. And you can design it from there. You
But
just
we
can't
can-
book it.
So
No.
we have to go, dear admin, please can you book me a DLE, a profile
And then you can go
DLE?"
into your profile and design it. You just can't book.
But it would be also quite handy to have something visual to show what the Welcome to Winter one looks like, and so that you can instruct your admin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, the Welcome to Winter collateral, so for any campaigns that Bailey's runs, like the Welcome to Winter, the Altogether Better and stuff, you'll find that information on the cloud. So when it comes out, I will send an email out saying, here is all the collateral, it's now saved on the cloud, go take a look. So there is DLE examples on there, there is flyer examples of what you can do in there.
That's what I mean.
Which is basically what that template is for the DLE. You can't deviate from that within here.
So if we order the winter DLE
Yep.
for admin, then we can then go and make sure our name is correct and maybe change one or two tiny things and then go to
Yep,
print.
basically on the winter DLE, it'll only, I can book you one in and show you. I'm in Andrew Rumble's anyway.
Yeah, it's all that. When's deciding what you're going to change for me?
It's just cost you $100, Andrew.
I'm,
Not for free, but it's just one.
Winter's almost over.
why do you do Andrew 50?
That's right.
I'm not gonna order them anyway. Let's see. So it's exactly like the media that you saw before. You get your artwork. Option create. So they're templated, so the basics that you can change is basically your email address and phone number.
Right.
But it's still a simple way to
That's not a very good one then, is it?
No, but I mean, that's
No,
not-
but it's profiling, it's the winter profiling, it's what they put out for winter.
It's too small.
It's in the mailbox, what's up with that? Like, having a cup of coffee and it's throwing it in the bin. Yeah, well,
No, but your face needs to be bigger.
oh, then throw it with wrinkles.
Smooth them out.
Is there?
So that's all it will give you.
That might be a good option for you, Mira.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. So, Elissa, can I just check the process? So for that, I would ask the admin to book one of those.
Yep.
And then I could look at it.
Yep.
In my own system.
In your
just
own
check it.
profile.
And say if I had some photos from the photographer, can I change photo or would the admin just do that?
Well, depending on what the
Whatever's
material
nice.
is, all of this is really templated material,
Okay.
so you're not gonna have a lot of room for
No,
changing
that's all
anything.
right. And that's
So for
good.
the Altogether Better, the winter campaign, the Make-A-Wish, the air
That's
points.
perfect.
Yeah, so Make-A-Wish air points are pretty much standard across the board, we can offer them at any time. The winter promotion run for winter, we'll get a spring one and a summer one.
That's perfect for a little deal.
Yeah, but it's perfect, yeah, for the in-between stuff, and for 50 you're talking at like $11, and you're just to get them out and get, you know, your profiling out there once a quarter.
So once I've looked at it and I like it, how would it get to printing? Do I have to tell the admin something or?
Yeah, well, once you look at it, which there isn't much to check,
No, but I would check it.
yep, you would check it, they'll check it, and then they just approve it, and it gets sent straight to Jazz Pro.
So I need to do
Or
something, do I
Alliance,
have to
depending
tell
on-
the person that I'm working with to please go ahead and do it?
Yep.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, just tell them.
But you know,
And probably
Yeah,
just
email,
quantity.
whatever.